Something a little different here in a sec, but let's start. More identities, double angle, variety. Hey, there's one. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. Okay? You might see it looking like that, and then we can make it look like that, or vice versa. So, if you get that, what do? That simplified form, how do I make it look like this? There's the 2, so here, theta is the 5, right? Okay, so I can write this in this form, 2 sine theta cos theta. That's as easy as they're going to get. This is an expanded form. That's in this form, 2 sine theta cos theta. So what's theta? Sometimes it's helpful to write it down. Well, theta's got to be 34. Okay? So I can write that in this form, sine of 2 times theta, otherwise known as sine of, what's 2 times 34? 68. And then they get a little trickier. Is that in this form? It's not yet. This needs to be a 2, not a 6. But can I make a 6 a 2? That's 3 times 2 sine 7x cos 7x. Theta here is 7x. So now I can write that in this form. The only difference is I got this funny thing sitting out front called a 3. Sine 2 times theta is 7x. And I can join those. That's 3 sine 14x. Okay? And I could start with a number out front, 7 sine 4x, but that doesn't look like this. So how can I make it look like that? Well, I can write that as 2 times 2x. Right? I can put brackets here if I want. Then it's looking like this form, sine 2 theta. Theta here is 2x. So writing it in that form, that's 7 times 2 sine x cos x. And then I'll just simplify it a little bit because I know what 7 times 2 is. 14 sine 2x cos 2x. Okay? Practice questions. These were probably on a previous government exam. Simplify. You got 4 choices. Well, I do know that, let's write it here. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. Okay, so that's in the expanded form, but 10 doesn't help me. I want to write it like this, because then I can put it in this form, okay? So that's the same as 5 times, this is sine of 2 times theta, where theta is 7x. And that looks the same as that guy. Okay. Expand. Again, there's a 20 out front here. That's fine, but I need a 2 theta. So I am going to write this like this. No, I want a 2, sorry. Okay? That's 20 times sine of 2 theta. Theta here is 3x. So that's the same as 20 times 2 times sine of theta cosine of theta. And that looks like B. Okay. Multiple chapter question. What's the period and the amplitude of this guy? I have no idea, because that's not looking like something I want to look at. But I do know sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. Okay, so I want this to look like that. So I'm going to go 5 times 2 sine theta cos theta, and then write it like this: 5 times sine of 2 times theta, which is 5 sine of 4x. Does that look like something we've done before? I hope so. Let's do the easy one. What's the amplitude? Okay, so it's either B or D. Is the period pi over 2 or is it pi? What does a 4 do? Shrinks it. Horizontal compression by a factor of a quarter. It's usually 2 pi. Okay, so that's one way to think about it. Okay. The other way to think about it is, if you recall, period is 2 pi over B. That's B. So the period is 2 pi over 4, and again, I get pi over 2. Either way, right? Good question. Probably end up on your final. Now, I think we got enough to worry about today. So I'm going to do this quickly, and then we'll change our tune. So there's also 3 for cosine double angle identities. That looks, well, it's pretty much the same as sine, just different. So cos 14, I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like that. And then theta is 7. So I could write this as this one, cos squared 7 minus sine squared 7. Or I could write it like that one, where that's 2 times cosine squared of theta is 7 minus 1. Or I got this option. 1 minus 2 times sine squared theta. Okay? Are you happy I skipped tangent? Okay, what's theta here? Which form is this? That's this guy, right? So theta, again, it may be helpful to write this down. Theta is 7x, right? That's cos squared theta minus sine squared theta. Looks just like that. So if I'm going to go backwards, I got cosine 2 times theta. Let's say it is 7x. So that is cosine of 14x. Okay, this one looks like the purple guy. 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1. So again, theta is just that, 3x. So I could write that as cosine 2 times theta, which is cosine 6x. Next one's a little trickier. Because there's a minus in between these two guys, here, here, and here, I need to factor something out. That's not in this form. Whoop. Right? That's not a minus 1. So I need to first make this thing look like this. Take out a 2, and then I got 2 cosine squared of 5x minus 1. Okay, so theta here is 5x. I wish this thing was big enough so I could see that. There. Just barely. Okay, so this thing, looking like that, I want cosine of 2 theta, but I got a 2 over here. So I got 2 cosine of 2 times theta. Okay, same, except just got a little 2 out front. And then I can collect those. 2 cosine of 10x. Okay, so one little thing you got to think about there first. Got to factor that guy. Okay, I'll just skip that one. Let's go to this one because I'm talking about it. 5 minus 10 sine squared 8x. That's a 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. I don't see a 1 here anywhere. But if I factor a 5 out, I get a 1. Okay? So that one I got to factor too. And then 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta is cosine 2 theta with a 5 out front. Okay, which is the same as 5 cosine 16x. Now this identity, 1 minus 2 sine squared theta is cosine 2 theta. Yeah. Okay. And I don't expect you guys to memorize all these, of course. I gave you a sheet yesterday with them all on there, right? Okay. So it saves you flipping back pages and pages and things. That gets a little tedious. Okay, a couple more multiple choice guys. What do I want to do first with this guy? Take out a 3. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And that's kind of like the one I just did here. That's cosine 2 theta with a 3 there. Okay, and actually there's only one there with a 3 in front, but it's B. That's in simplified form. I want it to look like this. Okay, and then see which one matches. Well, all of these say cosine squared. So I'm going to write that like this. Okay, and theta is 7x. So that's 8 cosine squared of 7x. Let's go look at it. 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. So what am I missing? A 2. Almost fell into their trap. So that's a 16 there. But what else am I missing? Right? Because that's an 8 out front. So just like factoring this guy, this is also multiplying it. So it's that 16 cosine squared theta minus 8. Okay? Tricky. Okay, last one, and I'll do something different. What's the period and amplitude of that? Well, let me write the identity right here. Cosine 2 theta is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay? So the first thing I want to do is get that k out of there. Okay, and then theta obviously is x. That's the same as this, so I can write that as k times cosine of 2 theta. What's the amplitude? K. So someone would pick D, I guess. What's the period? Which way do you want to think about it? Horizontal compression by a factor of a half, so it's pi, or period is 2 pi over b. B here is 2. We get pi that way too. Okay? There's that one to check, because we did it in class.